Hello dear students, once again welcome to the Java session. Students, in the previous session we have revised two units, Unit 2nd and Unit 3rd. So before we start Unit 4, let's have a quick review of these two units. In Unit 2nd, we have learnt about the classes and objects. A class is a representation of the similar type of objects. It is a blueprint that describes the details of an object. And an object is an instance of a class as it possesses instance variables and member methods defined within the class. Unit 3rd is values and data types. In this unit, we have learned that token is an individual component of Java program that carries some meaning and takes active part in the program execution. The different types of tokens in Java are literals, which are also called as constants having the fixed value, identifiers whose value may change during the execution of the program, assignment, that is an assignment operator which is used to store the value in a variable, operators to specify the operations to be performed, punctuators, which are the symbols like comma, curly braces, etc. Separators, which are used to separate the variables. Keywords, which carry a special meaning for the Java compiler. We have also learned that data types are classified into two categories: primitive data types and the non-primitive data types. Primitive data types are basic data types and serves as a building blocks in the Java. They are of two types, numeric and non-numeric. Numeric data types can be of integer type or float type, whereas non-numeric data type can be of character type or boolean type. The non-primitive data types in Java references to the memory and are created by the programmers. These are of three types: classes, arrays, and interfaces. And while dealing with different types of data types, the need of converting one data type into the other may arise. So the data type can be converted in two ways: implicitly or explicitly. In implicit type conversion, the result of the expression gets automatically converted to the higher data type, whereas in the explicit type conversion, the user forces the system to get back to the desired data type. Students, I hope you all have revised Unit 1, Unit 2 and Unit 3 thoroughly. But still, if you have any doubt, then you may ask me through the communication module in the school app. I'm always there for your help. Let's start with Unit 4, Operators in Java. An operator is a symbol which is used to specify an operation to be performed in Java. There are three types of operators: arithmetical operators, relational operators, and logical operators. Let's discuss all these three operators briefly, as we have already studied in the 9th class also. So we'll be discussing them in the brief way. The arithmetic operators are used to perform the mathematical operations. These are unary operators, binary operators. So the unary operators, which are used with the one operand, Java provides unary increment and the unary decrement operators to be used in two ways, as postfix or prefix. Postfix increment or decrement operator is used after the operand. It works on the principle of first use then change, whereas prefix increment or decrement operator is used before the operand. It works on the principle first change then use. And binary arithmetic operators are used with two operands. Java provides ternary operators which is used with three operands. It is also called as conditional assignment statement or conditional operator because the value assigned to a variable depends on a logical expression or a condition. The relational operators in Java compare two values and determine the relationship between them. There are 6 types of relational operators in Java, and these are less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to. Logical operators are used between two or more conditions. They result in either true or false, that is, the Boolean value depending upon the values in all the conditions. The logical operators are of three types. First is logical AND operator. It results in true if all the conditional operands are true, otherwise false. And second is logical OR operator. It results in false if all the conditional operands are false, otherwise true. And third is logical NOT operator. It reverses the result, that is, if the condition is false, it will result true, and vice versa. So students, let's revise little bit about Java in Unit 5 A part, Introduction to Java. We all know Java was developed by James Gosling and his colleagues at Sun Microsystems in 1991. Features which makes it different from other languages are that Java is an object-oriented language. It is a platform independent, that is, it can run on any operating system because of the bytecode. It uses compiler as well as the interpreter. The Java source code is first compiled and converted to bytecode, which is then interpreted to the object code. That is why Java uses both compiler as well as the interpreter. It is a robust language because it is a highly supported language. Its programs are portable. It has automatic memory management and garbage collection. It is a case-sensitive language as it differentiates between the uppercase and the lowercase letters. JVM or the Java Virtual Machine. As we studied in features of Java, that Java programs are first compiled by the compiler and converted to bytecode, which is an intermediate binary form and is irrespective of the machine on which it is to be executed. So, this bytecode is converted to the object code by the Java interpreter. As the Java interpreter acts as a machine to produce object code compatible to the specific machine. So, this is the reason Java interpreter is also said to be a Java virtual machine, that is JVM. JDK, that is the Java Development Kit, has a library called JCL, that is Java Class Library, which includes various packages. Package is a collection of classes, and each class in a package include different inbuilt functions. We can include a package in a program by using import keyword, which will be followed by the package name. In order to display the output in Java, we can use output statements in two ways, either by using system.out.print or by using system.out.println. By using system.out.print statement, we can display the next output on the same line. And by using system.out.println statement, we can display the next output on the next line. Let's see an example. First of all, click on class. Now window comes, write down the name of the class, display. Then I click on OK. After this, click on the display folder and write down the coding. I am writing class display. Then after that, public static void main string args. Now in this program, I am going to give you the example of the print function, that is system.out.print. Inside the print, I am going to display only the word computer in this line. Come to the next line. In the second line again, system.out.print. Here I am going to display applications. No ln is used. Main closes and class closes. I have not used any ln statement here. That means no cursor movement at the on the next line will be there. Now compile, no syntax error, close. Now execute the program. Void main, okay. Now I can see after computer immediately application is written. Application has not come on the next line. Let's take another example of println. Again, I am going to make here changes. Only ln I am going to add. Now compile. No syntax error, close. Now execute. Main, okay. Now I can see after computer application has come on the next line, and there is nothing. If I am going to display anything after application, that output will also come on the next line after the application. So dear students, this is the difference between the system.out.print and system.out.println. Students, let's proceed to B part of Unit 5, Input in Java. We can enter data in Java in the following ways. First, using function argument. Second, using input stream reader class. Third, using scanner class. And fourth is using command line argument. In this session, we will learn the first two ways of entering data, that is using function argument and using input stream class. So let's see practically how to enter the data. Let's create a class first. I have given it a name as display again. Now click on OK. Now again we have to create a class display. This is the first method of accepting the data using the function argument. Here public static void main. Inside main we will not be writing string R's. We will be writing the number of arguments whatever we are passing. So int A, int B, two arguments I am passing from here. That will be accepting the value during the runtime. Now int sum equals to 0. Sum is equal to A plus B. Sum is a variable that will be holding the addition of the two numbers. Now displaying the result of the addition. So using the system.out.println, inside the double quotes I am writing sum of two numbers equals to sum. Now closing main and closing class. Since it is a function argument, so in the main no string R's will be used. It will be passing the number of arguments. Here I have initialized sum equals to 0 and the expression A and B is used. The result of addition is stored on the sum and that will be displayed. So now compile, close, now execute. Here you can see void main, in place of string R's it is int A, int B. So now here also int A and int B in front of main. So in the first box you have to enter the first value that will be received by A, and the second value will be received by B, and OK. Now I can see the result. Sum of the two numbers is equal to sum, that is the result of addition of 5 and 10. This was the first method using the function argument. Let's continue with the second method of using the input stream reader class. Again the same class I have taken. Here I am making changes. In order to use input stream class, we need to import the IO package. For that I have to write import java.io.asterisk. Inside the main we will be writing string ask only, string args, and at the end we will be writing here throws IO exception, where I, O and E, all these three letters will be capital. Now coming inside the main, we have to create the object of the buffer reader class. As usual, I used to write br for buffer reader object. So buffer reader br equals to new buffer reader, new input stream reader, system.in, this is given in the 2 lines in your book. It is given, but I have merged it and I used to give it in 1 line, as I have already given you in the 9th standard. Now here I am using the same variable sum, and I am adding here 2 more variables. Both I am declaring as integer type. Their value will be accepted during the runtime. System.out.println, enter any 2 numbers. This is the message that I am giving. It is recommended that before accepting any value, you must give the relevant message, so that user should know what sort of value he has to enter. A equals to integer dot %, br dot readline, because A belongs to the integer class, integer data type, so we have to use the integer wrapper class. Again, B is also of integer data type, so integer dot %, br dot readline. After this, in the expression I am using A and B. The addition will be stored on sum, and after calculation the result will be displayed here. Compile. No syntax error. Close and execute. Here string ours is given in place of int A and int B. Now click on OK. Enter any 2 numbers. Here you will be entering 2 numbers. You have to enter. Let the first number be 5 and the next number be 25. Now the result, you can see the sum of the 2 numbers is equal to 30. This is the second method of entering the data using input stream reader class. So in this session we have learnt 2 methods of accepting the data, using function argument and using input stream reader class. So students, this is all for today's session. Let's have a recap of what we have studied today. We have learnt an operator is a symbol used to specify an operation to be performed in Java programming. Operators are of 3 types: arithmetical operators, relational operators, and logical operators. Arithmetical operators are of 2 types: unary and binary operators. Unary increment or decrement operators are of 2 types: postfix and prefix operators. Postfix increment or decrement operator works on the principle of first use, then change. The prefix increment or decrement operator works on the principle of first change and then use. The relational operators are of 6 types: less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to. Java was developed by James Gosling and his colleagues at Sun Microsystems in 1991. JVM or Java interpreter converts the bytecode to object code. A package is a collection of classes, as each class in a package includes different inbuilt functions. An output can be displayed on the screen in 2 ways, either using system.out.println or using system.out.print. Data can be entered by using any of the 4 ways: using function argument, using input stream reader class, using scanner class, or using command line argument. Students, for assignment, please check the school app. Thank you and have a nice day.